Why high anxiety weeks make you poorer. There's a pattern most people never connect. The weeks when everything feels overwhelming. When work is too much. When sleep is bad. When your mind won't stop. Those are the exact weeks your bank account takes the biggest hit. Not because of bills. Not because of emergencies. Because of decisions. Small ones. Impulsive ones. Ones that felt completely reasonable at the time. And by the time the anxiety passes, the damage is already done. Here's what's actually happening inside your brain during a high anxiety week. Your body is running on cortisol. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone. It was designed for survival situations. Short bursts of danger. Quick decisions. Immediate action. But modern anxiety isn't a lion chasing you. It's a deadline. A difficult conversation. A financial worry that won't go away. And when cortisol stays elevated for days, not minutes, it starts doing something very specific to your decision-making. It shifts control away from the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is the part of your brain responsible for long-term thinking, planning, rational decisions, impulse control. Under chronic stress, that part goes quiet. And a more primitive part of your brain takes over. One that thinks in hours, not years. One that wants relief now. Not next month. Not eventually. Now. This is why financial decisions made during high anxiety weeks almost never serve your long-term interests. You're not thinking with the part of your brain that handles long-term interests. That part has been temporarily shut down by cortisol. What's left is a brain optimized for immediate relief. And the modern world is full of ways to get immediate relief. Online shopping. Takeaway food. Subscriptions you don't need. Upgrades you didn't plan for. None of these feel like panic decisions in the moment. They feel like small treats. Reasonable rewards for a hard week. Your brain even has a name for it. Deserved psychology. The internal story goes like this. I've been through a lot this week. I deserve this. And that story feels completely true when cortisol is running the show. Because under stress, your brain actively looks for justifications. It doesn't want to be talked out of relief. It wants permission. And it's very good at finding it. Research from the University of Southern California found that chronic stress significantly increases impulsive financial behavior, even in people who describe themselves as financially responsible. The effect was strongest in people who were unaware that their stress levels were influencing their decisions. In other words, the less you noticed the stress, the more it cost you. So what do you actually do with this? First, recognize high anxiety weeks as high-risk financial periods. Not because you're weak. Because your brain is operating in a different mode. Treat those weeks the way a pilot treats bad weather. You don't fly differently because you're a bad pilot. You fly differently because the conditions have changed. Second, create distance before any non-essential purchase during those weeks. Not permanently. Not forever. Just 24 hours. The research is consistent on this point. Most impulse purchases made under stress are not completed if a single day passes between the urge and the action. The cortisol drops. The prefrontal cortex comes back online. And suddenly the purchase doesn't make as much sense. Third, find one low-cost way to give your brain the relief it's actually looking for. Not suppressing the need. Meeting it differently. A walk. A conversation. Sleep. Writing down what's actually bothering you. These aren't productivity hacks. They are cortisol interventions. They directly lower the hormone that is making your financial decisions worse. The goal isn't to be perfect during hard weeks. The goal is to understand that hard weeks are expensive, not just emotionally, but financially. And once you see that connection clearly, you start protecting your bank account the same way you protect your energy. By managing the state your brain is in. not just the numbers in your spreadsheet. In the next video we're going to go even deeper. Because it turns out the relationship between stress and money doesn't just affect what you spend. It affects what you earn. The same cortisol that drives impulse purchases also affects your performance, your focus, and the quality of decisions you make at work. Financial stress doesn't just cost you money directly. It costs you the capacity to make more of it.